Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Energy News Beat Daily Stand-Up. My name is Stuart Turley, President and CEO of the Sandstone Group. I'll tell you what, it is absolutely crazy on the news desk. I cannot keep up with President Trump. U.S. stuns European allies and opens Ukraine peace talks with Russia. I got to give Pete Hegseth a shout out for going to NATO and saying that Ukraine will not be part of NATO. I am very happy about that. Next story, Saudi Arabia's Texas refinery just made a power move. Crude oil price forecast. Crude oil reclaimed $72.83 this morning, targets higher resistance levels. Kind of interesting. Will Trump's second term change the future of energy? Boy, that's a loaded question. We got also Shell expects significant near-term LNG demand growth. I'll tell you, I am seeing a ton of ships that are being built. There's a lot of places that are being importing now. Contracts are flying, so to speak. So Trump orders federal agencies to comply with Musk's DOGE cuts. You gotta hand it this. We got a full deck here. Let's get rolling. U.S. stuns European allies and opens Ukraine peace talks with Russia. Donald Trump said on Wednesday he and Vladimir Putin had agreed to open talks on Russia's war with Ukraine immediately after his defense secretary said it was unrealistic that Ukraine's 2014 borders would be restored. Both leaders agreed to start negotiations immediately on the war in Ukraine in a lengthy, productive phone call, Trump said on Truth Social. The encounter is in the first publicly revealed between the two leaders. President Putin then released in an interview that he is looking forward to interviewing President Trump in Russia as well as in the United States. I think this is phenomenal. I actually released on our Energy Newsbeat Substack an article in which I did not see that this was even going to get happening, so I produce it. Within an hour, he's on the phone talking with President Putin. The key is that I still don't think that there's foreign policy is taking a look at the missing data that is in the war colleges and a lot of the industry leaders that are out there. The information he needs for geopolitical things have been stripped out. So I'm going to be watching it and really keeping an eye on it. But hats off to President Trump and getting negotiations moving. Saudi Arabia's Texas refinery just made a power move. Some U.S. refiners are scaling back. A lot of them are closing. Saudi Arabia's Motiva Enterprises just made a power move. The Saudi Aramco refinery in Port Arthur, Texas, has quietly expanded its capacity, now processing 654,000 barrels per day, officially making it the largest refinery in the United States owned by Saudi Arabia. You gotta love it. So I love foreign investment, but I just think it's kind of sad that we have to have foreign investment in our own refineries. Let's go to the next story here. Crude oil price forecast. Crude oil reclaimed $72.83, targets higher resistance levels. This is pretty important. Crude oil reclaimed the 50-day at 72.83, signaling strength. Watch resistance between 74.60 and 74.89 with potential support at 70.91. I really think that the next upside target is, I agree with him, 74.74. But I still think that it could be in the 80s because we are not out of the geopolitical issues going on right now. So you still have a ton of geopolitical issues. Demand is still going on. And I'm still feeling the $80 oil in long term. Will Trump's second term change the future of energy? I find this article interesting when you sit back and take a look. This article goes on from The Hill. And when you take a look, Trump repeatedly pledged on the campaign trail to implement policies favorable to the fossil fuel industry and roll back incentives that have boosted the renewable energy sector in recent years. I think that what we're seeing is the corruption that DOGE is bringing out We're also finding out that corruption was in the Green New Deal, the Green New Energy policies. And it is really pretty telling. This report, which predates the presidential election, attributes much of the anticipated growth to support policies and favorable economics. Well, we know that the Green New Deal is not economically feasible, and we're taking a look at all of the subsidies, the EV subsidies. When you take a look at the billions of dollars that have been spent just to put charging stations out there and nothing, I think they had eight. You're looking at the funding for graft and waste is drying up incredibly fast. And this is a pretty good report from the Hill. Hats off to them on rolling that out. Next story, Shell expects significantly near-term LNG demand growth. Shell released its 2025 energy security scenarios, reimagining its archipelagos and horizon scenario in a world of artificial intelligence. Company also added a third scenario, Surge, which explores the project of a new wave of economic growth driven by improvements catalyzed by AI. You can't mention the word AI and not talk about natural gas and LNG. LNG and natural gas. In President Trump's world, he's always looking at the trade imbalances around the rest of the world. LNG is the ace in the hole for President Trump to try to export United States energy. While it may be more expensive to other countries than natural gas, if they don't have access to natural gas, it makes sense to import U.S. LNG. Where President Trump, and it's not talked about in this article, is that President Trump really needs to look at getting rid of the Jones Act and rebuilding and growth, just like Secretary of Energy Chris Wright has said. We are going to be building, this is going to be the department's goal, and that's building. We have got to be able to build ships and build our own tankers. And when you cannot secure tankers, you cannot secure a LNG export long-term plan. So hats off to them for writing this article. It's a good article, and we're off and running. Before I read my last article here, I do want to give a shout out to Steve Reese and Reese Consulting. Reese Consulting is a phenomenal company, and if you are in the natural gas arena and you want to talk to the expert in the United States, he knows everybody in the United States. I'm not kidding on that, actually. And they do auditing of natural gas. They do training. And if you've got a workforce that you need trained, give them a call. And they're in the show notes and ads on energynewsbeat.co. Trump orders federal agencies to comply with Musk DOGE cuts. This is incredibly exciting from the standpoint that this is exactly what I voted for. When you sit back and take a look, if you didn't hear on the other podcast that I talked about, DOGE is actually a rebrand of an Obama legitimately created entity that has hooks across all agencies. So President Trump was legally rebranding it and refocusing an agency which was within his legal rights. And if you're seeing how much the Democrats are complaining about corruption and wanting to keep it, I think you'll start understanding how corrupt the Democrats and rhinos are. And, Chuck Schumer, would you please retire? Go away. Don't go away quietly. Just go away. Unbelievable. Again, thank you to all the wonderful listeners. We appreciate everybody. The great feedback that we're getting. We've got lots of great things, interviewing Congress people and lots of other energy leaders from around the world. We've got maybe 30 folks either already interviewed or releasing out. So again, thank you to everyone on the Energy News Beat podcast and the entire team at Sandstone. Have a great day, and we will talk to you all soon.